It's a beautiful day, 2nd of November, 21 degrees here in Skopje, and we are traveling to Pristina now. That should be 102 kilometers to our destination, which is a little bit south of Pristina. It's Gracanica, and Google says it's 1 hour and 20 minutes. So enjoy the ride. On the 15th of May 2000, I arrived in Skopje for the first time. I had never been here before. And I was arriving on a German military aircraft together with a new contingent of German police officers who were supposed to work in the United Nations interim mission in Kosovo, also known as UNMIK. And I was supposed to start my work as a deputy police commissioner of that mission. But I arrived at the Skopje airport in the military part, and it was very, very different shortly after the war and the international intervention in Kosovo at that point in time. So this is a revival tour, because I'm also taking the same road into Kosovo, using a border crossing named General Jankovic. Maybe I'm talking a little bit about a few memories throughout this travel. This road was part of a life-defining journey, because initially I had thought I would go to Kosovo for an international deployment with the United Nations for 9 months or for 12 months. And that was in 2000. But actually, it completely turned my life around. And overall, I stayed almost 4 years in Kosovo until 2004. I'm coming back to some places here. And then I stayed 4 years in Brussels with the European Union instead of going back to Germany. And then I stayed 4 years in Bosnia and Herzegovina for the European Union instead of going back to Germany. And then I stayed almost 5 years with the United Nations in New York instead of going back to Germany. And then after a little bit more than 1 year in Berlin, when I also was finally retired as a police officer, I went back on a contract with the Foreign Office to the Balkans. And now I'm living almost 3 years in Serbia. So overall, I have spent more than 10 years in the Western Balkans. And I have been here, and I also have been in Kosovo on a number of occasions. But today I'm taking my time, or during this trip, I'm taking my time to talk a little bit about it. road from Skopje to the border with Kosovo is as bumpy as it always was. I guess it has been remade at least on one or two occasions, but there's such a heavy truck traffic here that it is wearing out quickly. So it's almost like traveling 22 years ago. It's almost the same feeling, it's the same look. Everything except that there are no military vehicles, no tanks, no United Nations white vehicles, nothing. It's completely changed compared to how it was looking like with regard to the presence of the international community on a huge scale 22 years ago. Just a few facts and figures. In this very small area, Kosovo, in 2000, we had roughly 45,000 soldiers from various member states of NATO, and I was in charge of 4,500 international police officers under the umbrella of the United Nations, and they came from 54 different nations of the world. And over the years we built up a very capable Kosovo police, which I left with some 6,500 police officers in 2004. And here we are in Blace at a border crossing to Kosovo, exiting North Macedonia. And this is also known as the border crossing General Jankovic. But I won't take movies whilst I'm in the border area. So in Kosovo, the regular so-called green or white insurance card doesn't work because of the special status of Kosovo. There are still things that are very different, so I needed to buy...
In 400 meters, at the roundabout, take the first exit onto R6.
I needed to buy a 15 days insurance for the van. a travel video only shows, or very often predominantly shows the favorite views of where I am. And this one is a tiny little paradise in Gracanica. But the town has changed so much. At some point, but I guess not this afternoon, I will catch some impressions of Gracanica, the old town. But you don't see it from here. But Pristina is the capital of Kosovo, has grown so much and has come as close as Pristina possibly could be. You don't see the switch from the crowdy Pristina to the beginning of the outskirts of Gracanica. And Gracanica was always divided into a predominantly Kosovo-Albanian and a predominantly Kosovo-Serbian type part. But this hotel Gracanica, with a parking space for camper vans and a safe and secure area for Tigger, who is here enjoying himself. This is a really nice place, and you don't see it from the front of the building, which is non-descriptive very often, because that is what I also remember with regard to architecture. Buildings in Kosovo very often are non-descriptive from the beginning, and the backyards are tiny little paradises, as is the one here. Those are the areas that are also including some very ancient historical sites, pre-human sites, I think. No, human sites, but archaeological sites with a reference to history 100,000 years ago, or yeah, I should better look that up and to be more precise. But this is not occupied by new buildings. There's the small road leading to Gracanica, and this is a little refuge which is really fantastic, including a hotel building with restauration. I can have breakfast and lunch and dinner, whatever I want. I can sit here and enjoy myself. And there is even a swimming pool. And since it's something like 22 degrees out there, I may still use the swimming pool. So for this afternoon there's nothing I plan, because I'm pretty open-ended with regard to when I'm leaving on Friday. Today is Wednesday, and I can take it slowly, hanging out here since it's 3:15, and in a little bit more than 1.5 hours the sun will be down, and then it's getting dark anyway. So also the aerial overview with the drone is something for tomorrow. But the person who was at the reception, who was welcoming me, he was for many years, he was interpreter for the military NATO organization that is stationed here still in Kosovo, KFOR, the Kosovo Force, and he was a local interpreter for KFOR for many years, and I have to find out whether he's owning this or co-owning this, or whether he is employed here, because it's nice to see development and history. Though I will also be interested to see how the ethnic Kosovo-Serbian enclave of Gracanica is looking like. I'm not going over there also finding out whether my old landlords are still there this afternoon, because if they are there, I will have to spend some time with them, and I don't want to be impolite and in a rush then. So I spare that for another time, and I'm going to see, and just as I said, I'm going to relax and to enjoy myself this afternoon back in Kosovo, or as we said when I was working here for the United Nations, I'm back in the mission area.